Welcome to GAB Sports, and we are bringing you another live draft session where we're going to head over to Underdog Fantasy Sports and draft a couple of contests in their pre-draft big board and little board possibly contests in these best ball streets. We're heading on back into the best ball streets, and yes, it's a Friday here in the Bay Area. And we were just entertained with a great NCAA basketball game. I was tuning in to that ending for that Santa Clara versus Kentucky. The guys from Santa Clara showed up well, but they just couldn't topple that traditional powerhouse Kentucky. But that's all right. It was a very entertaining game. And so we are going to turn our attention to drafting Bestball, right? As we are dead in the heat of this best ball season, right? It's heating up, right now. These are the tense moments where everybody's just really kind of grasping for any edge they can get right here. And so we're here to talk about certain things that can give us edges if we are aware of them and how to attack them and navigate them. And what we are talking about today are the running back dead zones, right? The running backs that are in the dead zone and how we can capitalize on navigating through this traditional landmine where there's always been a lot of dudes who kind of crap out in this area, right? And there will be some that crap out this year as well. So we want to go ahead and navigate that, and we'll have a discussion about that as well before we head on into drafting. But first up, I'm going to go ahead and hit the intro right now. See you shortly. All right.
Oh, we rise, we rise, we rise. Oh, we climb, we climb, we climb. Oh, this time, son, we go. Victory on our mind. Gotta work, push, go. Gotta work, push, go. Let's see how I start this shift. We in this game, serving a strategic purpose. Went from underground, now I've reached the surface. When we claim the chip, it ain't a fluke, you know we work for this. New breed superhero, a hybrid dragon plus Michael Jordan, breathing fire into this game. In the air, I'm steady floating, destined for this role. Since my birth years, golden best ballin' for life. It's moolah on a mission. Tommy hot takes analysis, on point delivered with precision. Setting moves to this game, invoking martial law. Going all out, we won't stop. Win, lose, or draw. Oh, we rise, we rise, we rise. Oh, we climb, we climb, we climb. This time, Zion, we go. Victory on our mind. Joe slow harmony chant. Joe slow harmony chant. Joe slow harmony chant. Victory on our mind. Try some low harmony chant. Work, push, go. Giant work, push, go. Let's see how I start this. What we in this game, serving a strategic purpose. Went from underground, now I've reached the surface. When we claim the chip, it ain't a fluke, you know we work for this. New breed superhero, a hybrid dragon plus Michael Jordan, breathing fire into this game. In the air, I'm steady floating, destined for this role. Since my birth year is golden.
All right. Yes, thank you for joining us here at GAB Sports. I'm your boy, YUUNGMOOLAHH, and we are coming today with a couple of drafts over on Underdog in these big best ball contests today, Friday. A beautiful day, March 20th. Spring is here, right? Yeah, it's a springtime atmosphere. And March Madness is bringing us a lot of excitement. Also, these best ball streets are hot and heavy right now. And before we continue, we just want to introduce ourselves. We are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most appreciatively, we are grateful and blessed here at Guidelines to Achieve and Build GAB Sports. It's your boy, YUUNGMOOLAHH. And yeah, we want to go ahead and just jump right into some discussion on what we want to focus on. And things that are really on my mind lately is navigating this running back dead zone. So if you checked out the thumbnail, you can see that, yeah, it's looking a little spooky, but we can navigate this arena, right? The dead zone, right? And so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the players that we will be talking about who are in this dead zone, right? Because many people, they have a different interpretation of what the dead zone consists of, right? And that's fine. But we're going to show you where we believe the dead zone begins this year. And so let me go ahead and share this screen with you. And so if we're looking at the board of the running backs, right, the ADP, and so we're going to go ahead and start right there. After that group, to me, were Kyron Williams and Javonte Williams, the two Williams boys. To me, that's the end of the area where you kind of feel good to me. And then that next group of players to me is where the dead zone begins, and that would be the 5th round when you're looking at Travion Henderson, whose ADP is 48. So this year, to me, my dead zone begins with Travion Henderson, which is a 5th round pick. He's right there on the end at the 4-12, 5-1 turn. And you can see, you can go through all of these backs here: Quinshawn, Scatterbo, Tuten, Swift, Harvey. Yeah, these guys are all in the dead zone, right? And to me, it goes all the way through like the 8th round, right? You get to guys like Chuba, Algier, Monangai, Dowdell. And so that's kind of where I believe the dead zone pretty much stops, because after that, you're going to get guys who, Pollard is going to fall into a group, allegedly, predictably, and possibly, where Jeremiah Love may come through and be drafted. So that's going to knock him, even further down the board. So those guys aren't really considered dead zone, in my opinion. Dead zone are guys who will have a role and who are looked upon as possibly being a potential feature back. But there is some risk in taking these guys, because they also maybe in some sort of a timeshare or some sort of split backfield where they're not maybe going to get a huge number of opportunities. So from basically Rico Dowdell, end of my red zone backs, not red zone, end of my dead zone backs, Rico Dowdell, and it starts with Travion. So you got Travion all the way through to Rico Dowdell. So it's going to be tough navigating this landmine of backs. And I've basically faded several of these backs in here. Some of your favorite backs I will not have. That's just my choice. And I believe that this is the region where buyer better beware, right? And I may be wrong, right, in fading some of these guys, but I'm not going to expose myself to a lot of these guys in this dead zone. I'm just going to take some of the guys who I believe will be able to go against the norm of this dead zone, right? Which has traditionally and historically been a landmine, a pitfall, right? But this year, I think you can get some guys out of here who will surprise some of them. Some of them will break out. Some of them will just exceed expectation. Some of them will just simply pay off. But several of them, possibly many of them, could disappoint. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the dead zone. But I'm pretty bullish on the dead zone this year compared to most years past, because you got guys like Scatterbo, right? If nobody comes there in the draft, nobody of significance, he can do his thing, right? You got Judkins. It's possible that they don't really bring in anybody of noteworthy, right? And so he'll be just competing with guys like Dylan Sampson. And so some of these guys, Tuten, right? I'm bullish on Tuten. And, you got Chris Rodriguez there, but I believe his talent will win out. Swift, right? Swift had a great season last year. Can he duplicate it, right? If he duplicates what he did last year, he blows the water off this dead zone label, right? RJ Harvey could possibly succeed, but they brought back J.K. Dobbins, so that can impact his outlook. We got David Montgomery, Demo, right, coming over from Detroit, and looks like Houston wants to put him into the driver's seat as the featured lead back here, and this could be a great thing, right? Demo, he's part of this dead zone, right? Jalen Warren, he just got a running partner in Rico Dowdell, so that could impact his outlook. Ramondre in that timeshare over there in New England. And we also have Chuba, right? Who could be the lead guy over there in Carolina with the departure of Rico Dowdle, who joins, obviously, Jalen Warren, as we mentioned, Tyler Algier, Monarga. The list ends with Rico Dowdle. So these guys they have some positives about them, right? But there's also a looming possibility that they could also not deliver on their promise of this draft spot, right? But overall, I think we got to feel pretty good about this dead zone. So to me, there's an awakening, right? That's what we call this particular show, right? The awakening. Is the dead zone awakened? And I believe it has, right? As we navigate through many of these names, a lot of us are pretty bullish on most of these guys, right? Or at least a number of them. And so the dead zone this year has the potential to really just crush, right? And if you're willing to take that risk, you could be rewarded. But just know that historically, there's been things that haven't gone great in these dead zones, right? So just be mindful of that. And we're going to attack some of these dead zone players that we like, right? And I don't want to really get my exposures too thinned out in that red zone. I'm just going to go with the guys I believe in and mix in a couple. I'll be under the field on most of these guys, obviously, but there'll be some where I'll just be super over the field. Some I'll be totally fading. So you just got to pick and choose what you want to do. Let's go ahead and check out who's joined us here. We got Goofy Chicken Fantasy. What's up, man? Go ahead. Yeah, what's up, man? Streaming early on the Best Coast. Yes, we are, man. You see, we got the Golden State Warriors, man. My Warriors, man. We one thing about the teams I support, man, we brought titles, man, and I feel blessed, man. That's one thing that you can never take for granted. Take it from me, a longtime fan, right? The Warriors hadn't won a championship since 1975 until this recent run, right? Which started in 2014. So that's 40 years, man. 40 years. You know how blessed you are to have a championship parade coming down the streets of your local city. And you can go participate and celebrate, and you the toast of the world, right? You're bringing home championships. Because fandom, man, people get, excited about fandom, right? If you're a fan of any team, if you're passionate about these sports, which I am, baseball, basketball, football, I like all the sports, right? And all my teams, we win championships, man. I'm a Warriors fan. I'm a Raiders fan. We haven't won in a while, but hey, we've got 3 banners. I've been to parades for the Raiders. And then I got the Dodgers, right? And I was previously a A's fans until the ownership just ruined my whole appreciation for that franchise. So I switched my allegiances about 3-4 years ago to the Dodgers, and we've been crushing. So, yeah, we go ahead and bring parades to the city, man. That's a beautiful thing. So what's up, Goofy Chicken Fantasy? Appreciate you. And we got a guy or gal, or I don't know. We got a person, Scott Jungie, 5992. Good afternoon. Appreciate you stopping in. And go ahead and take the time, if you don't mind, to go ahead and smash that like button if you don't. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And we're going to go ahead and jump into a draft right here, right now. Okay? Let's go ahead and do this, Brutus, right? So we want to jump into, I'm going to go try another little board. Yeah, I've been trying to get into little boards first on these streams. And then the later one I'll do, which is usually when more people start to come around, we go ahead and try to jump into a big board after that. So let's go ahead and try to jump into a little board first, see what these streets are offering. And it is one of those things where sometimes you just find the right draft room. And especially for these little boards, sometimes they don't really fill up. But let's see. All right, we're going to jump into a little board in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're entering a little board. It's drafting soon. Oh, hopefully you got in if you were trying to get in. And so don't tell me. Okay, we got the 6th pick. All right. 6th pick is very good in that I haven't had it in a while. And I think there could be a shift in some of the players that people have been drafting there. So I don't mind getting the 6th pick. Right? Starts in 40 seconds. We are entered into a little board, and we're about to get started here shortly. So if you want, stick around, please, and we will get into a big board after this little board, right? But we're going to go ahead and keep focusing on what we were talking about as far as the running back dead zone, right? It's that critical period of the draft, and I have it targeted as the 5th through 8th rounds, where all of those backs have some sort of risk attached to them, some a little more than others, but there is some risk, right? Some of them just aren't studs. Some of them just are in a timeshare. Some of them are coming off of injuries. There's just different things associated with some of these backs here throughout that region of the draft. And so we want to navigate that pretty cautiously. And so let's see. We're up in 4 picks. The draft has started. So let's see what's happening in this draft. Little board drafting over here on Underdog. So let's see what it's looking like as we're coming up in the 6th spot. Did anyone in here get into this draft? Oh, yeah, it's 2 red badges. Wow, I haven't seen a draft like this in a long time. And so we're going to see what happens. Usually there's a lot of reaching in drafts rooms like this, where maybe there's some people who haven't been drafting for a while. They come in right now and, hey, we'll take JSN at 6. Certainly will. We'll go with JSN at number 6. Okay. Need a little drink of water here. One thing about this springtime out here is allergy season for me, right? And, yeah, it gets allergies, get some congestion and sneezing and things like that. So I got to stay hydrated, keep all these liquids flowing through my body. But yeah, it's nothing like springtime though, but it does bring some allergies. But we got some beautiful sunshine. That's great. Wouldn't trade it for anything out here on the West Coast. And I hope everybody's experiencing some good weather right about now as spring kicks into gear. Yeah. These brutal, unpredictable winters have kind of left the seasons in kind of disarray. It's like sometimes you don't even know if it's winter or fall or spring or summer. Sometimes, you can get these different types of changes in the weather that you don't know what time it is. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well out there and not under any duress with any kind of storms or natural disasters. All right, so we got JSN. Let's see where we want to go with our number 2 pick. See what the board kind of looks like. Pretty standard so far from this room of non-badgers. They're going pretty according to the script. Nothing out of the ordinary. I think I'm going to, that's who I wanted actually, was a share of McBride, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and take a guy. We're going to add Chase Brown. Going to take Chase Brown, a guy who I think I don't have many shares of, but I want to get some exposure to that Cincinnati offense in different ways. So Chase Brown would be the guy who's, pretty much the workhorse back, right? We didn't know if he could really do it as far as take on a big load, but he proved last year he can handle a big load. And so I don't think they're going to bring in anybody of significance if they even do bring in anybody. And I think they lost, who's that backup they had? Perine. I think he's no longer there. So I look for Chase Brown to, possibly duplicate or even exceed what he did last year. So we're going to get some shares of him. Also, I want to get some shares of Saquon as well. But we went ahead and took some shares of that Cincinnati offense. We want to get some of that Cincinnati offense. And coming around the corner, wow, this guy got Bhayshul, Pickens, Bowers. Bowers sliding to the third. Great value. Got so much Bowers I didn't want to take. I wanted to actually get a McBride share here, but that plan was foiled, so no big deal. We pivot on over to another guy we want to get some more shares of. That would be Chase Brown. All right. We got two guys toward the end. Jolly JJ and Chris Long, 33. Coming in with two RBs, the superhero RB strategy. All right, what's going on? Let's see what we got here as we're on deck. We're just going to go ahead and take another piece of that Cincinnati offense. T. Higgins. So we got a Chase Brown, T. Higgins correlation. All right. Nothing sexy, nothing spectacular. Just a solid plan of attack. We're just getting offenses that we believe in. And Seattle with the number one stunner, JSN, and then we back that up with two pieces of an offense who I believe can go pretty hard this year. Because Joe Burrow coming off that injury, a lot of people forgot, hey, man, the Bengals, everybody was gung-ho on them last year. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people are stacking this team, but, you got to buy into the Bengals. So we'll see how this works out for me. And we have our next pick coming up in the 4th round. All right. Going to go ahead and throw on a little bit of mood music. Let's do this like Brutus. All right. We'll throw on some Lofi. And as we do this, sometimes the microphone can start to react in a negative manner. But we'll go ahead and work through those little, hopefully brief moments and get it correct. All right. So, yeah, sometimes the mic can start to glitch here and things like that. We'll go ahead and see if we can bear with me through this. As we are on deck here in the 4th round, we got a 1 running back, 2 wide receiver field, and looking like, oh, look at Travis Etienne right here. Yeah, we'll definitely jump on him. Or Travis Achan, that is. Yeah, it's hard to remember, but yeah, I'm going to call him Achan, man. That's what he said his name is. So no matter what I believe, looks like something, but hey, he said it's Achan. So Travis Achan it is. All right. But we would gladly take a share of this young man, Travis Achan, here in the 4th round. That's a pretty good dip, in my opinion. I will definitely take him here. Bucky's slipping quite a bit too, which wouldn't mind taking him there as well. But it looks like if Kamara somehow isn't retained here, whether he retires, whether he's traded, Travis Achan could have his own backfield, right? I mean, there's no good competition there other than Kamara, if Kamara stays. But it's possible Kamara's not there. So that could be a very good win for Achan there in New Orleans, where he's just the sole guy and gets like 90% of the plays of the, and most all the running back touches. So he's setting up to be a very strong play. A workhorse role is in store, and he's back home, right? He's from the area, and to me, that's a certain narrative that I always buy is when guys go back home. They can get reinvigorated based on that because they may have always wanted to play, in front of the home fans, family, and friends, and so those are the kind of situations that spark my interest, or that pique my interest, to where these guys can do well, man, in that kind of situation. And because he's going to have some motivation. He's going to have some support, right? And he basically will be happy, right? Being at home in his comfort zone, possibly, right? Rome Odunze here in the 5th round. Had our eyes on a possible Mike Evans, but then he went one pick ahead of us, which is fine. We'll take a similar guy. This is the young Mike Evans, Rome Odunze, right? Similar profile, bigger guy, can use that catch radius to their advantage. Guys who are good red zone targets. And so Rome Odunze, I wouldn't be shocked if he outdoes Mike Evans, right? I won't be shocked at all. But, they're pretty much on the same tier, same level. And basically one guy over the other just comes down to who has the games at the right time when you need them. Because they're pretty much an even money play on who has the better season overall. And you're just hoping for good health for either guy. But we're going with the offenses. And both San Francisco and the Chicago offenses look to be really good. And we are in this perilous dead zone right now of all the running backs, right? Travion Henderson went a little ahead of schedule for me. And then we had Judkins, 210, Scatterbo, pulled up Demo in this dead zone, right? And so this is the idea. This is the area where I'm talking about, where a lot of these guys, I'm just simply not going to take. I'd rather kind of just, if I have a certain build, I'll skip all these backs in this area. And this is the kind of build where I will not need to have to take any chances on any of these guys who carry a certain amount of risk right here through this red zone or dead zone. I keep calling it the red zone. Wish it was the red zone. This dead zone. And let's see who we can get. All right. There are guys through here. We do. Oh, wow. I mean, if you're going to let me get Swift, man, that's one of the dudes we love here. This is one of the guys who I really consider maybe shouldn't even be in this area. So we'll definitely take DeAndre Swift share at this price. So our backfielders look like Chase Brown, Travis Etienne, and DeAndre Swift. Yeah. And we got 3 receivers as well, supplementing our 3 running backs, JSN, T. Higgins, Rome Odunze, coming down the middle of the draft board and the number 6 hole in this little board draft here at GAB Sports. As you come in, please take the time, if you will, to go ahead and smash the like button. Also, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, GAB Sports, and also follow us on social media at GAB4Young, GAB the number 4, YUUNG, as we are looking to ramp up this channel in 2026, as we got some good things in store, right? And we will be probably taking a little hiatus, in another couple of weeks here as I finish up my drafting here in the pre-draft best board. We'll just take about a month hiatus or so, and then come back fresh, revitalized with some fresh new ideas, some collaborations, things like that. Ways to really get the community at large involved, because this is a great community, man. The Bestball community, and you got a lot of real sharp people and some fanatics, and everybody's supportive of one another. And so, got DK. I don't need another running back. What's the quarterback looking like? We can kind of wait. Yeah, we can. We'll go with DK. Yeah, DK is a guy that's kind of hard to figure out, but he's a very talented guy. That's one thing you cannot dismiss. Has he had some, moments where he just has disappointed you, whether it's his actions or just his performance? Yeah, but that Pittsburgh team could be a lot different under Mike McCarthy than it was under Mike Tomlin. And so DK, it would not be shocking for me to see him have a big banner-like type season, one of his best seasons yet in this offense. So Mike McCarthy is going to be a little bit more aggressive and creative than a guy like, say, Arthur Smith, right? In utilizing his personnel. So I'm not down on a guy like DK. I just there could be some questions. There's a lot more competition now, bringing over Michael Pittman. But hey, that could also be to his advantage, and that defenses won't be able to load up just trying to stop him, because he was pretty much the only aerial weapon last year, right? Him and then the tight ends, which nobody's going to be scared of the tight ends. So DK could find a little bit more operating room and he has a year or two, maybe more chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. Let's see how that dead zone is faring. The dead zone, yeah. Chuba goes in the 6th, along with Swift, which we love to have Swift over Chuba. Thank you for allowing that to happen. And then we have Jalen Warren, Ramondre Steven, Tyler Algier, and Rico Dowdle, which is pretty much the end of our definition of the dead zone. So, yeah, there's often where you're going to sprinkle in some of these guys, right? I think we're going to go ahead and take a quarterback right here. Let's see, which one is it that we want? Yeah, we'll go ahead and take Trevor Lawrence and look to maybe backstack him with a couple players. So we got Trevor Lawrence, a little bit past ADP, right? A few picks past ADP. And we can pair up that Trevor Lawrence pick with a guy like, when I say pair up, correlate them with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're on the same schedule this year, as well as DK Metcalf. They played that NFC North or AFC North, the AFC South plays AFC North. Let's see, who else does the AFC South play? Let me go ahead and check that out. Let's see, am I on the clock? Oh, coming up in a little bit. All right. AFC South. Plays the NFC East. Okay. Play the NFC East and the AFC North. So we don't have any NFC East yet, but that's okay. Don't need to seek that out if it's not naturally flowing. Sometimes you can start off a draft with that kind of correlation in mind, but once you get going, if it's not really there, don't force it. We can go ahead and not worry about that right now, because that is the least of the concerns. You want to maybe just get the best value in a draft like this, come down the middle where there are lots of players who are falling into our wheelhouse, guys we like. Going to go ahead and add a guy like Chris Godwin right here. Could see a boost in targets with the departure of Mike Evans. This could be like maybe his swan song as well, where he's getting a little older and they do have some young talent there at the wide receiver position. But a guy like Chris Godwin can come into this year and just, have a banner year, right? Bounce back from last year. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at that at all. Thank you once again. Join us here at GAB Sports. Please, on your way in, take the time. Smash the like button. Go ahead and feel free to follow us on social media. We certainly would appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel here at GAB Sports. We definitely need your support as we are in these best ball communities, bringing you this content. It's really the certain level of appreciation that we must exhibit. And I'm certainly appreciative for each and every one of the people that come and visit here. And as we continue to grow, your support will be rewarded, right? Guys like me, we come up with creative ways to do things for our supporters, and that will be no difference once this channel continues to grow. And I will definitely look for things to reward our loyal supporters. Yes. Got to give back to be able to receive some blessings. You got to give. All right. We do like Jadarian. We'll take our guy Jadarian Price here. So we're building a pretty balanced team here. We got the 1-4-5 in effect right now. 1 quarterback, 4 running backs, and 5 wide receivers. Okay. And as this draft winds down, we'll go ahead and jump into a big board after this. That'll be exciting. Yes, as we come to you on a Friday afternoon in these best ball streets. Right. It's a Friday. It's the weekend. Weekends were made for Michelob. That's a theme marketing campaign. They came out. Michelob weekends were made for Michelob, right? It's pretty sharp because it sticks in your head when you hear things like that. So let's see what we need to do here as far as the quarterback position. So we do need to maybe add another quarterback. All right. Let's see if we can get some correlation with our build in that. We can get a guy, we can stack our guy JSN with his quarterback. We'll do that right here. Add Sam Darnold to this roster. So we got a Sam Darnold JSN correlation. And yeah, so we're not going to be pressing for any quarterback here. We have 2 starting quarterbacks who should be pretty strong. Right? Darnold, not going to be a spectacular player, but hey, he can give you some good games, especially when the JSN goes off. But Trevor Lawrence is one of those guys he had a monster finish to last season. Down the stretch, he helped a lot of people qualify, I'm sure, for the best ball playoffs with his finish. I think not quite sure when his run started, but I would guess around week 11 or so. He just went on a tear down the stretch where he was carrying some teams down the regular stretch of the regular season of the best ball. And so he was very beneficial, I'm sure, to a lot of teams. And I'm not sure I had much of him, but the teams that I did have, several of them qualified for the best ball postseason. Do I have a tight end yet? Can we look at Strange possibly? Strange has been taken. Yeah, there's some ADP guys here. They're going to go by the ADP. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to be particular with ADP right now. Let's go ahead and add Rachaad White to this build. A guy who has a role. Could have went with the rookie, but we got Jadarian Price already. So we're going to go with Rachaad White, a guy who, even if they bring in somebody, Rachaad White will still mix in as maybe the 3rd round back because he's really good, a really good 3rd down back. And so I look for him to have a role no matter what they do here in the draft at the running back's position. Look for a guy like Rachaad White to still be in the mix. Going to add some tight ends to our queue. And also, we are not going to neglect our other positions. Receiver room looking pretty solid there. Actually, pretty strong. We got a lot of ones and twos. JSN's a one, DK's a one, Godwin, 1A, 1B, right? With Ibuka, could easily be a 1A, 1B type situation there. Yep. Thank God it's Friday. We are coming at you live here at GAB Sports. It's your boy, Young Moolah. We got some visitors. We got money in the thing. What's happening, my man? The boom. I like the boom, man. Yes, appreciate your support, buddy. Thank you for dropping by. Yeah, we're going to jump into a big board after this. Oh, I got timed out. I was in there in the chat. But we needed a tight end anyway. So that's fine. We got Juwan Johnson. So we were going to go tight end. And we got the guy who was at the top of our list. And so we got Juwan Johnson as our tight end. As likely just went ahead of him, who was number 1 in my queue as the tight end. But we'll go ahead and see what we can do here next. We have we got 2 quarterbacks now. 2-5-5-1 build. Looking pretty balanced here. And don't know if we want to go ahead. Let's see what the board's looking like. Don't think we need to get a quarterback here. I'm not really anxious for the 3rd quarterback. I can wait late on a quarterback here, I believe, on this kind of a build. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on the other positions. Running back, receiver, tight end. Don't know if there's a quarterback here that we absolutely had to have. I can just go late. Oh, excuse me. I can just go late with one of these guys who we have already potentially stacked, right? So we can do that. Not going to sweat a 3rd quarterback with this build. We'll tack on somebody. Somebody late. All right. Yeah, this build is pretty standard. I didn't feel like I needed to do anything dramatic in that. I got quite a few fallers here in this draft. Guys who I would clearly take even ahead of where I got them. So go ahead and be satisfied with that. And we're going to see what happens here as well. Travis Hunter. We'll go ahead and take a guy we really like in Jonathan Brooks. We are loading up on this guy, and that'll close out our backfield with Chase Brown, Travis Etienne, DeAndre Swift, Jadarian Price, Rashad White, and Jonathan Brooks. We won't need to go any further on the backfield selections, so we can go ahead and highlight our other spots and see how we want to add to this receiving room. There's some guys we will definitely take at value, and some guys we will want to slip past value that we would take. So they're coming up on those kinds of names now, with guys we would take past value and guys we would take at value. These guys need to fall past value. These tight ends, since I already have one, we can wait on all of the tight ends late in the draft with this build. Naylor's been a guy I need to get a little bit more exposures to. And Taylor's a possibility if we go with that. Cade Otton. Gunnar Helm. Do we have any Atlanta love? We don't have any Atlanta plays. Cooper Kupp. What about Cooper Kupp? Anybody have a Cooper Kupp fan out here? Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I haven't been drafting any Cooper Kupp, but he will be back, right? So it could be, okay to get a guy like that. We are on the clock. Chimeri, DK. Do we go with Geno? And maybe they draft a receiver. We're going to draft Geno. And maybe they draft a receiver here. So we got Geno and Trevor Lawrence unstacked at the moment. And it's fine if I end up with these guys unstacked. But we do have some options that we can add to those guys. And we can add some rookie receivers as the Jets, with their extra draft capital, they're going to bring in one of these rookie receivers, right? We don't know who it would be, but they'll bring in a rookie. Could be this guy, Elijah Surratt, right? Who else? Some of the possibilities they could bring in. They could bring in Jeremy Bernard, right? We don't know. So I could possibly add some rookie receivers to this build. Cooper Kupp. We also have Seattle. We got a Seattle stack building. Ted Hurst, Tyquan Thornton. Some of the dudes that we just continue to add to our queue as possibilities down the stretch as we are in the 16th round here on this little board draft. All right. Thanks for checking in. We got Losimo. How you doing, buddy? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you may be in. Appreciate you stopping by. Go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And after this draft, we'll be jumping into a big board. If you want to go ahead and join us, feel free. We are in the 16th round of this little board. And we're going to go with Stowers, man. We like Stowers potential. Going to add Stowers here. Wanted to get some more of him. And I feel like this is the kind of build where you can get a guy like that. Add Stowers. I wouldn't mind going 4 quarterbacks. If I go 4 quarterbacks, I can go 7 receivers, 3 tight ends, something like that. Yeah. Not out of the questions. Not out of the question to do that at all. It's going to come down to Mason Taylor, Freiermuth, Rodgers. If I go Rodgers with a 4th quarterback, those are all possibilities. See what the draft board looks like as far as quarterbacks. So everybody seemed like they got 3 or 4. This guy's got 0 right next to me, so he's going to be taking a quarterback. Vinci Globe with 0 quarterbacks through 16 rounds, 10 receivers. Is he on auto draft? I don't know. Possibly. This guy has 4 already. Several guys with 3 already, but this guy has 0, but he's next to me. So it looks like I would have to take my quarterback first if I'm going to go 4 quarterbacks. Why not? 4 quarterback build, man. Let's do it. Because I like my receiver room. I don't feel the need to have to press one of these guys right here. And I am done at running back. So we can just build a different kind of a build here with a 4 quarterback build, possibly, if they allow this to happen. Let's see. I don't think this guy's going to take one. Stewie does not. So we'll go ahead and take Rodgers. Continue to punish the guy who has went 0 quarterbacks through 16 rounds. Yeah. So now we're only dealing with maybe 11 teams. Thanks for the rake, fella. You have no quarterback. You have no chance. If you don't get a starting quarterback, you have zero chance to advance. Zero. Yeah. So he's in a very perilous position here. Pretty much done already because the quarterback's left. He may be able to cobble together a couple backups who could get in, but if he doesn't take these Atlanta duo, if he doesn't get the Atlanta duos, he doesn't have a starter. Although he could possibly get Deshaun Watson, but that's his problem. We're going to focus on what we're doing here and let him continue to suffer. But thanks for the rake, fella. Hope everything's okay with you, that you just didn't get disconnected and hey, man, but as long as they don't cancel the draft, we're okay. Do they cancel drafts if you don't draft a quarterback, or are they going to force a quarterback on this roster? Does anybody know? I don't frankly know. If you don't draft a quarterback, do they cancel the draft? Or will the algorithm kind of draft a quarterback as his last pick, like automatically? I don't know. Never been in this spot. Kind of weird, though, that he put himself in this spot. We are coming up. So he's got 0, 6, 10, 1. I would assume the algorithm's going to give him a quarterback at some point. You only have 3 more shots. If he's on an auto draft. Let's see what happens here. And he is on auto draft because he's just getting picked right away. I'll label this one guy with 0 quarterbacks and see if it stands as a draft or if it gets canceled. And that'll give me the answer to my question of whether they cancel things like this. Because I frankly don't know. I've never been in I don't think I've been in a draft where a guy never drafted a quarterback. And so I'll see if this draft holds. We got what we wanted out of it. We got our 4 quarterback build. And we got 3 tight ends. We'll go ahead and stop there. Correlated Pat Frymouth with our Roger stack with DK. And we got 2 guys uncorrelated. Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith. Maybe we can slide in a rookie receiver here that could possibly land in New York. Let's see what those rookies are looking like. Got Ted Hurst, Jeremy Bernard, Elijah Surratt. Wouldn't mind getting a Surratt share. It's going to be really precedent to see if he falls past these guys who could be on auto draft. And he's one of the highest auto drafted players, or by ADP. We'll take Surratt. Not really high on this guy, but I could be wrong. Right? Big bodied guy. Could end up being like a red zone target, hopefully, for the Jets. Right? Jets might try. All right. And they might bring in Stowers to complement Mason Taylor. Who knows? We got one more pick coming up before we jump into a big board, as this is a little board here at GAB Sports. So go ahead and stick around, and let's jump into this little board or big board after this little board. And we are going to continue to navigate this dead zone of running backs, which is looking very perilous, but also lucrative at the same time. It's almost like you just have to like walk the tightrope, right? And then once you lose your balance, this guy pulls you back up. But if you fall off and go with the wrong guy, because I'm super exposed on a couple of these guys, if I fall off the tightrope, it could really cost me. But I'm willing to take that gamble because I'm going with what I saw and how I evaluate guys. And so I'm placing my bet on Tuten as the guy who crushes And I got plenty of DeAndre Swift too. Tuten and Swift are the guys I really have pretty much went over the field on throughout that dead zone. That's pretty much the guys. I'm not gonna chase up Dave Montgomery that much. I'll have some shares, but I'll probably be level with the field on David Montgomery because I didn't get a ton of shares before his ADP rose, and I think you'll be at a disadvantage slightly. And that's all it takes is a slight disadvantage. You'll be at a disadvantage slightly to those teams who drafted earlier and they got Demo like 115, 120, 118, 170. And now you're getting him at 60, 62, 55. It's a little pricey. Big tier difference in the 1v1 that you will be going up against. Your 1v1 that you drafted, that you're drafting now at the 120 spot versus the 1v1 that they got at the 55, 60 spot. Ted Hurst. Yeah, man. Malachi Fields. Antonio Williams. Who do we go with? I think I like Hurst. Yeah, let's go with Hurst. Ted Hurst signing. Young, talented guy. So we got 2 rookie receivers we tacked on at the end of the draft, hoping that one of them lands with the Jets. If not, they can land somewhere else and still get some time. All right, so we'll go ahead and review this team here. If you happen to be listening to this stream and you want to review, go ahead and let yourself be known which team you are. Otherwise, I'm just going to review my team and then we're going to hop into a big board right after that. So this draft is completed and we're going to look at our team coming out of the 6 hole. We came with a 4, 6, 7, 3. Let's see. Did the guy get a quarterback at all? Let's see if he did. Just one quick look at Vinci Globe. He got 1 quarterback. All right. There you go, buddy. Got a 1-7-11-1. Thanks for the donation. And so, I watched Tua have his best year ever. This guy benefits. YUUNGMOOLAHH's team, 4, 6, 7, 3. We got Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers to complete that quartet of quarterbacks. And we got 2 guys who are unstacked, which was Trevor Lawrence and Geno Smith, but that's fine. The other 2 guys we have double stacks with. I believe, did I get a double of Darnold? Maybe not, but it's fine. Single stack with his top guy. And so we are fine with that quarterback room. And we got 6 running backs that we are really okay with. Chase Brown, Travis Etienne, DeAndre Swift, Jadarian Price, Rashad White, and Jonathan Brooks. Pretty strong room, I believe, there. And our receivers, we are quite content with as well. JSN, T. Higgins, Rome Odunze, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, and then we tacked on 2 rookies at the end. Elijah Surratt, Ted Hurst, possibly landing with one of our quarterbacks, either in Pittsburgh, New York, Seattle. Jacksonville's probably not taking a receiver. No, they won't. But those 2 receivers could end up in one of those spots. Then we got a trio of tight ends, Juwan Johnson, Eli Stowers, and Pat Freiermuth to pair it with our guy, Aaron Rodgers and DK. Okay, so that was a quick review of this little board roster. And we'll go ahead and look to get into a big board, right? So it's a little bit after or close to 1 p.m. here on the West Coast, which is close to 4 p.m. on the East Coast. So these best ball streets should be starting to fill up. And so we're going to look to get into a big board, right? So we'll go ahead and take a minute to welcome you all once again. Thanks for joining us here at GAB Sports. Please take the time, if you will, So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and go ahead and follow us on social media. That would be at GAB4 Young, the number 4 YUUNG. Also, feel free to leave a comment. Appreciate the comments, suggestions, whatever, feedback, because we can only build this channel with your support, and we do appreciate each and every one of you that stopped by here. And so we are going to jump into a big board. All right. And I kind of want to do a draft. How much time we got? All right, we got a little bit of time. Going to do a big board, and then I might just even do one more draft on DraftKings. But right now, let me check out my slows. Oh, okay. Got to address a slow first. So we'll do that right now. Live on camera. Got 1 hour left in our slow. And so we'll go ahead and address that pick. We don't want to get timed out. 14th round here in a slow. We have Justin Herbert, Daniel Jones, 4 running backs, Saquon, Kenneth Walker, Demo, Jadarian. Do we pair up Woody Marks with Demo? Or do we go Chris Rodriguez? I think we'll take the Chris Rodriguez bet to give us a little bit of a hedge on our shares of Bhayshul, Tuten. We have a ton of them, but we'll hedge it here with Chris Rodriguez. Yeah, no problem hedging some of your shares, especially when you're overloaded on a guy. You have to play both sides to some degree. So we'll go ahead and add a Chris Rodriguez share. All right, hedge our bet. We got Justin Herbert. Do I have Justin Herbert paired? No, we do not. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some players in our queue for this guy, just so we won't forget. Trey Harris. Coming up on our next pick, which is in the 170s, I believe. Yep. Do we need a tight end? Not really pressed for a tight end. See if any quarterbacks falling that fit our build. Penix percent. All right, we'll put a couple quarterbacks in our queue. Although, if we rock these two, I can't just rock with Daniel Jones. We also got to maybe put in a guy like Anthony Richardson, who has yet to be traded. It's not a far-fetched idea that he could remain in Indy and get some starts under his belt as Daniel Jones heals. We don't know for sure if Daniel Jones will be ready week 1, right? All right, so we got some housekeeping right there with our guy, with our slow draft there. And now we'll turn our attention to a big board. All right, so let's go. Big board drafting here on GAB Sports. I'm going to enter on our phone. I don't like to get those location errors and developers, all this kind of stuff, developer errors. So we just go ahead and enter on our phone. Okay, going to enter this big board draft, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Entering big board right now. Let's see how it turns out. 10 more to start. Wow. We caught a dead period, I guess, which is fine. Because, been looking to get some drafts that aren't just super loaded with red badges and goats. And, sometimes you just want a little break from that, right? I don't mind getting some more EV. Those drafts could be a lot less EV when you got, a row of badges lined up, because everybody's going to be pretty savvy. Everybody's probably been drafting this whole time. So it's not that I'm ducking. It's just that sometimes you need to find where you can get a better return, right? Nothing wrong with that. That's kind of smart, right? Look for that better return in some of these drafts. So drafting in the daytime, I'm not sure how this has been working out because I haven't really been drafting a lot at this time, but hope it's working out. Yeah. So as we wait for this draft to fill, let's see where it's sitting at right now. It is sitting at 8 more to start. We're going to be patient. And yeah, so we went over this landmine of running backs called the Deadzone, right? Let's go ahead and look at that again. We can look at the ranks of the board by ADP. And we see that right around the end of the fourth, the beginning of the fifth, we see Trayvon Henderson. And I believe that's where the dead zone starts, in that Kyron Williams and Javonte Williams are pretty safe as far as being a dead zone back to me. I mean, there is some more risk with Kyron in that Blake Corum has shown to get a decent piece of the pie. But I look at those guys still as little sure bets versus this next group, beginning with Trayvon. Trayvon, we know, is super explosive, right? But he also is a guy who I think is in danger of losing a majority of snaps, right? He could be on the lower end of the committee with a guy like Ramondre. That was shown over the last half of the season. This guy was getting less snaps, less percentage of plays on the field than Ramondre, due primarily to his actually surprising pass blocking deficiencies, right? We thought this guy was one of the top pass blockers to ever come into the league. The way they were hyping him up. This guy's one of the more polished pass blocking running backs we've seen in a while. Trayvon Henderson. He gets in, he's getting lit up, missing assignments. And hey, maybe college pass blocking for a running back is a lot different than NFL when these dudes are blitzing off the corner. And sometimes you got to even chip on these defensive ends. Maybe they weren't asking them to do that, or the caliber of rushers and blitzers wasn't as good as these guys in the NFL, right? When you're playing college teams, the most college teams, right? The overwhelming majority of college teams, they might have one player that makes it to the pros on defense, right? You're not playing the Alabamas and the Georgias every week. So the teams that you're primarily playing, you might have one or two dudes that even sniff a pro contract. So some of these guys can look great in certain situations in college because they're not really facing pro players at the college level. The pros are the best of the best of the best from all across the country, right? So when you step up in competition, the assignments and the nuances get a little finer and the assignments get a little tougher. So his pass blocking in college obviously didn't translate as well as people thought. And so I think that's one of his dangers, is that he's not getting on the field enough, Trayvon. And so maybe he shores that up. But he's one of the riskier guys I look at in this dead zone, along with a guy like Scatterable, who all the chatter is about. Are they going to bring in Love? Are they going to bring in this guy? Whatever. Who knows? But right now, that's the risk you're taking with a guy like a Scatterable. Judkins coming off the injury as well, and Scatterable. Those two guys, Judkins may not be on a good team, right? So that's his risk. That's his negative. Because I'm bringing up the negatives here. I'm not going to bring up the positives for any of these guys, because there's risk associated with these guys in this dead zone. Let's see what we're doing. It's 4 more to go. 4 more to go on that big board. If you want to jump in, we're waiting on a big board here to fill up. And appreciate you all stopping by as we are covering this dead zone running back talk. And so I'm just going to bring up the negatives associated with all these guys and why this is a pitfall. And should you buy into it? Maybe some of this is overblown, right? And we could be just overblowing a lot of stuff. And maybe most of these guys could be great. But these are some of the pitfalls. A guy like Bhayshul Tuten, right? Travis Etienne leaves, but now they bring in Chris Rodriguez, right? So this could still be a committee backfield, or even a guy like LaQuint Allen, who's very good in pass blocking, could get some third down. So they could be mixing in 3 dudes here, which is not out of the question, which could limit the ceiling of a guy like a Tuten or Rodriguez, right? And so that's his danger, right? DeAndre Swift. He's one of the safer bets at this point in that, hold on. He's one of the safer bets in this region in that, based off of last season, it looks like he has a very solidified role here with Ben Johnson. And Kyle Monangai is a good complement, but he's not really a threat to get the majority of the snaps, I don't think. I think he'll still be on the shorter end of the split along with Swift as it stands now. So the negative being he could maybe miss a few games, right? He was relatively healthy all last year, but Swift has been known to miss, a few games here and there, do some nicks and bruises, hamstrings and knees or whatever. But overall, he hasn't been, an injury-prone guy, but he can tend to miss a few games, right? So I think that could be most of his negative. And also, what if Kyle Monangai emerges as maybe a better pass blocker or better in the third down role? We don't know. So those are some of his concerns. But overall, I think he's one of the safer bets. RJ Harvey, obviously. J.K. Dobbins, right? J.K. Dobbins, the presence of that guy kind of takes a lot of luster off the shine of RJ Harvey. And I think that's just going to be there until J.K. Dobbins isn't there, right? Whether he's on the IR list or whatever. But this guy is one of those guys who doesn't seem like the brain trust there. Sean Payton has a lot of trust in this guy, Harvey. Otherwise, why would they bring back Dobbins on such a good deal? And he was talking about possibly even getting in the sweepstakes for adding, maybe Travis Etienne or Kenneth Walker or something. So they were talking about like if you're talking about all that, you must don't have a real confidence in a guy like Harvey, who you drafted in the second round last year. That's my take on that. So that's his concern. Let's see if we are close to starting this draft. Oh, we already started. Yeah. So going to have to cut this short, the red zone talk, and go ahead and jump in this draft. Right? We are 5 picks away. Luckily, we were at the end of the draft because it started unbeknownst to us. Okay, so we are in a draft with, don't recognize some of these names so far. Beagle Fears. We're in the 8 hole. Flacco Fantasy Football. Ball So Hard You. FK Coolers is in here. All right. Emo Cowboy. Maybe there's another stream going on. That'd be great. But since we are right here, let's see what we want to do. Do we go Just Jefferson again? Yes, we do. We're going Jefferson. Justin Jefferson. Another share. All right. Let's get down to business. As we are in another draft, we're drafting in a big board here at GAB Sports. It's your boy, Young Moolah. Big board, little board. We did a little board first. Turned out pretty well. Got a 4-6-7-3 build. And here we start off with Justin Jefferson out of the number 8 hole. And it looks like we got Emo Cowboy and as well as FK Coolers. So it's possibly another stream going, but who knows? We are here live at GAB Sports. Appreciate you all coming in, stopping by. And 4 picks away here. So let me see where those guys are in relation to me. FK Coolers is right after me. Emo Cowboy is on the end. He goes 2 running backs. Coolidge goes Amon Raw. It's good to know where certain guys are. Ball so hard. You. So we got a row of red badges right here. And Fantasy Maestro, is that your name? All right. We're coming up on the clock here in a second after a couple picks. FK Coolers, see what he does with his second pick, because I already know where I'm leaning if it falls my way. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to take a share of this guy. We haven't been getting many shares, but they brought that offensive line intact. So we're going to take Saquon. I'm going to add a Saquon share coming out of the NFC. We got 2 NFC picks, NFC North, NFC East. Let's see who the NFC East plays. Saquon. Saquon is going up against the AFC South and the NFC West. South, AFC South, NFC West. Saquon. Justin Jefferson. He is playing the AFC East, NFC South. So he's got AFC East, NFC South for Justin Jefferson. Saquon has AFC South, NFC West. I know it's kind of hard to keep some of that in mind, but I try to as I'm drafting, in case we want to get some correlation where we end up smacking the week 15, week 16, week 17 matchup, right? You just might run into it by keeping these correlations in mind as you're drafting. You might run into that. Just might. And any edge in these contests is an edge. So pressing the edges is one of the things we do stress here at GAB Sports. We press all potential edges because you don't know which one of those could be the edge that got you over. You know, it could be that thing you thought about and said, hey, man, let me press this edge. I know it's not a big edge, but it could be a potential edge. And then you lucked up and got a week 17 beauty of a matchup, right? Because you thought about it, right? You got Justin Jefferson going up against, you know, the Buffalo Bills or something, right? In week 17 in Minnesota. And then it turns into a shootout, right? All because you thought about it. Because they do play the AFC East. So I was right about that. Do I have a chance to even get that? Possibly. Let's see. Because we will press it. Flacco Fantasy Football. We will press that one. If it falls onto our lap. Don't do it. He timed out. I know it. Once he timed out, he's going to do it. So we didn't get that one, but let's see what else we can do. We can do this. Travis Achan. We'll take that guy. All right. So we got 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver. Yeah, this is the day, Friday, where we might not need to do anything drastic or radical, right? Some days you just draft, man. It's okay. It's okay to draft without trying to be a hero or trying to do something special. I got plenty of builds where you just draft the strongest, best players you can draft. You got to have a portfolio mixed with different stuff. And the sound drafting where you're just taking the good players who fall to you at the right prices. Those have to be the main crux of your portfolio, right? No matter what strategy you're going to implement, it better be sound. The strategies can differ, but the soundness of the approach and the player mix has to be there. And so we got a start of Saquon, Achane, running backs with Jefferson. And yeah, we're okay with this. NFC North plays NFC South. Saquon plays NFC West. AFC, was it South? I believe it was. Saquon, AFC South, NFC West, yep. There is a player we would like to get here. FK Coolers. Did not take him. Yeah, we want this guy. So we're going to go ahead and take him. We want some Ibuka shares. All right. Who could elevate to be the top receiver on that team, right? Him or Godwin. Or it could just be spread around to numerous guys, right? Where nobody's the alpha, which is more likely, I believe. There's kind of a sharing of the alpha role, so to speak, between Ibuka and Godwin. I would point to that as the most likely outcome, but it's not out of the question, given the history of guys like Godwin getting injured and stuff, where Ibuka could become just the guy there, right? And get like 150, 155, 165 targets. It's not out of the range of outcomes or the possibility, right? So we will be adding some Ibuka shares. Let me get some guys who I think probably won't be here, but never know. Guys do fall in drafts. We might want to get Sherrod Judkins since we don't have any. But we'll see what happens. These are our wish lists. Probably won't get any of them, but never know. Tate, he's on the back end of the wish list because I probably will take some guys ahead of him as well. Do we go with another Tuten share? Don't know. Not going to fill up my queue after this because I don't know who's lurking. We often get lurkers. Ooh, Burrow. 5th round. He's got Chase, I assume. He wanted to lock up that Burrow stack. Good for you, buddy. Sometimes you can't take a risk. Brube. Yeah, he can't take a risk sometimes, so he locked up his Burrow stack. Good for you. Wonder if they're going to take quarterbacks. Looks like they probably will. Over here at the end of the draft, there's a couple of non-badges in between Emo and Coolers. They will likely take a quarterback. So do I want to take Daniels here or not? With this build, yes, we do. We'll take Daniels ahead of him. I am loading up on Daniels of late as I end these sessions of my draft because I only have maybe 8 to 10 more drafts possibly left in this big board contest for me. And I do want to get some more shares of Daniels. I got quite a bit, but I want even more. So we will take them ahead of ADP even because ADP at this point doesn't really matter. I mean, give or take 5 to 10, right? Plus or minus 5 to 10 doesn't really matter. It all matters about if your guys are the right dudes for your build and will they deliver on their costs, right? That's all that matters. So Jaden Daniels being what? The 1, 2, 3, 4th quarterback off the board. This is a guy who certainly Could finish in the top 3 quarterbacks, top 5 quarterbacks. So that's fine to take him as the 4th one off the board. That's when the ADP doesn't matter. He's the 4th one off the board. So finishing in the top 5, buddy, and you did fine for me, right? So that's all that matters. Let's see what we got going here. As we are up next, FK Coolers. We do like this guy. Maybe we add a share of Demo just because we got to get a couple. Not really chasing him up the board a lot, but in this particular build, we'll take him at 65. Yeah, we'll take a share of Demo. AFC South versus NFC East. Saquon Barkley versus Houston at some point during the season. Maybe we luck up and get that week 16, week 17. Who knows? Right? Who knows? But we do understand that they are correlated to some degree. And we are going to press any edge. That's our strategy, pressing any edge. Jalen Hurts with Saquon. I don't think that's really optimal for me to do that. So I don't think I'll do that. So we're not going to put it in our queue anymore anyway. So let's just let the board play out. Let's take a look at what's happening on this side of the board. The front end of the board, we got 3 guys with no quarterback. So they'll probably be taking a quarterback here. And we got 4 guys with a quarterback. Still no quarterbacks on the other side of me, which is a telling point. They all waited. And that's fine. I don't know if they would have waited for Daniels. If Daniels was there, one of them might have taken him. I believe they would have. So I took him. And I'm okay with that. So I can now wait on my quarterbacks while they have to kind of address the issue. And so we'll see what we can do other than quarterback. We'll take our favorite dudes right here. Other than the quarterback. Do want to get back into the receiver game at 80. There are some guys that we will take here at 80. Or we'll take a quarterback. But I do want to get some shares of Parker Washington out of that AFC South again. Welcome aboard, Parker Washington, to YUUNGMOOLAHH's team. All right. Half lurking, half sleeping. Not in the draft. Our guy, quid pro quo, 39-33. You half lurking, half sleeping. Nasty hangover. All right. Did you do some late night drafting? Man, some of those drafts last night were wild. Yeah, I was in that draft with at Nice and Blunt. He was hosting Fantasy Football Garage, and they had a draft with we had our guy Gritty in there. Hit him with the Gritty. That's a guy I'm gonna reach out to, man. See if he want to come on the show. Controversial figure. I don't know why he's controversial, but I don't even know why I said that. But a polarizing figure in the DFS community. Yeah, they were trashing his team, and I thought it was kind of odd because, hey, man, a guy, you never discount any strategy, man. Because this guy often has a high advance rate. Hit him with the Gritty. So, hey, man, I give everybody respect on how they want to approach this fantasy best ball because, hey, that's what he wants to do. And if it works for him, have at it, buddy. Because he's continuing to do it. So something must be working. I would hope he's not just trying to donate. So something must be working for him to continue to do that strategy. So he actually built a pretty dangerous team in my eyes. Do we want to get our tight end here? I do like me some Pitts. And we will go ahead and take them. Going to go with Kyle Pitts here to continue mix in some correlation along with some value plays to where they're not reaches. Kyle Pitts. So how do we navigate the running back dead zone? Well, we took one guy out of there on this draft, which was David Montgomery, who just entered this dead zone with the trade to Houston. Otherwise, he wasn't in the dead zone. He was actually outside the dead zone. But now, my dead zone is round 5, right around this turn, to round 8 through round 8. That's what I would consider the running back dead zone this year. And so I'm trying to navigate this as best I can. Not going overboard on many of these guys. I'm pretty much even with the field or under the field on almost all these guys, except a couple of guys who I've identified in this running back dead zone. But to each his own. We're going to have varying opinions on who the guys are to avoid or steam up in this dead zone. So it's always a point of contention in the best ball community. And at the end of the year, we'll know who was right? Everybody can put an argument down right now, but the proof will be in the pudding once the results come in. All I would say is that navigate wisely through this area. All right, let's see. But we got a 1-3-3-1 build. Don't feel the need to add another quarterback. What are these guys doing with quarterback on the end? All except one has got theirs now. So we'll go ahead and take our BPA. And you can see my BPA is this guy. Got tons of shares of this guy who may end up in Seattle, right? I got a feeling Seattle likes this guy, which is why they probably didn't want to really sign anybody. They had their eyes on this guy. That could possibly be what they're doing. They had this eyes on this guy at their 32nd pick, whichever one, 32nd, right? They're the last pick in the first round. Guy like Jadarian Price could be the apple of their eye there. They bring him in. He's got a smash spot. And now, look there. He'd be the fourth back on this build, starting for your Seattle Seahawks. That would be lovely, right? That's what I'm envisioning as I'm loading up on this guy. I've been loading up since the beginning of this contest on Jadarian Price. He was always at the top of my tier 2. And actually, I came out with my rookie ranks, my tiers of rookies, which you can see on, it was a live video that we did a couple of weeks ago where we did our rookie tier ranks. So it was one of the live videos where I mentioned that it's on the thumbnail of the tier rankings, rookie tier rankings. And we showed that we had Jadarian Price in tier 2 all by his lonesome. I've been like that since day one. And so we've been loading up on this guy all off season, all in this contest, not changing now. I'm a firm believer that he will be one of the top selections at the running back position in the NFL draft. Okay, let's see what we want to do here. Coolidge now has 2 quarterbacks. Don't think he's going to take a third. Will you? No, he did actually. But he didn't take the guy we wanted. We'll go with Baker Mayfield to pair with Ibuka. All right. So we got our second quarterback. Now we can look the receiver spot, running back spot. Yeah, so this is a big board draft here on Underdog. Our second draft, we did one earlier, which was a little board. And I just might do that. I just might just chug 2 hangover helpers and ready to rip one. Yeah, the hoops, man, has been fantastic. That game between Santa Clara and Kentucky, man, what a barn burner. That was a great ending to Regulation. Yeah, man, if you want to stick around, we'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and jump in another. No doubt about it. We got one more in us as we are already streaming, so it won't hurt to just jump in one more, man. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I'm down. Yep. Yeah, a sick one, huh? Yeah, I don't know who's playing now. I've been streaming now, so I can't watch right now, but I'll get back to it after the stream. But in the meantime, let's have some fun right here. This will be our NCAA March Madness drafting. Okay. Do we like any of the tight ends? Any tight ends slip? Nope. We're going to add a share of Concepcion. Don't have many of this guy, but we'll get a few shares here and there. Casey Concepcion. Not super duper high on him as far as this entire receiving class. I'm not sure that there's a lot of openings for some of these guys to come in right away and just seize a big role. So pretty much under the field on all of the rookie receivers. In fact, let me check my exposures right now. Completed. Rookie receivers. So we got about 670 drafts, looks like. Rookie receivers, the first one that pops up in my exposures is a guy. Still haven't found a rookie. Still haven't found a rookie. Denzel Boston, 7%. Omar Cooper, 7%. Yeah, that looks like the top rookie exposures I have. Right around even with the field. I think I'll probably continue along those lines, around even with the field or below on this rookie class until we get to post-draft, and maybe I can change my tune on some of these guys. Emo Cowboy, what is he doing out of the 12 hole? He's got a 1551 build. FK Coolers 3251. So I think he finished his quarterback room with Love, Goff, and Herbert. So let's see what we can add here. Oh, man. Cowboy took my guy McMillan. I knew he might do it. I was thinking about doing it a little earlier, but nah, shit, I can probably get him. So I took Concepcion instead. Probably should have went the other way around. This Concepcion's been falling a little bit, but that's all right. JCM, Mike Washington. Which guy do we want? I'm going to take a flyer on Mike Washington. Yeah. Take Mike Washington as a potential Seattle Seahawk, right? I don't know if they may like Mike Washington for all I know. It's possible. Instead of my guy, Jadarian Price. So we kind of locked in an additional bet there that they could possibly like Mike Washington, the Seattle Seahawks. I know some team will fall for Mike Washington. I'm saying fall for him. They're going to have this guy high up on their board just based off his athletic profile. Whether he's really good or not, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But somebody's going to take a chance on him and give him an opportunity. So that's all we can go by. He's going to get an opportunity. So I'll go ahead and roster guys based on that kind of knowledge anyway. Hey, he's going to get an opportunity. I don't know if he's good. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But we'll get a chance to find out. That's one thing will happen. We will find out if he's any good. Because he will get an opportunity. You can best believe that. I don't know how many more rookies we want to add to this build. Usually not going for the rookie fever here. So I limit myself to about 3-4 rookies at the max that I'll put on any one team. And so I know we're approaching that limit right now. All right. I said I wasn't going to load up my queue. Give these guys edge on seeing what I'm thinking, but we did it anyway. Let's see. I'm okay with the host of these guys. So have at it however you want to pick them. I'm taking one of these guys. And I don't necessarily have to pick them in this order. It's all about the build. How many receivers I got? 4. Okay, slightly falling behind. We got to catch up. They have quite a bit of receivers over there. As we come down the 13th round in this big board draft, thank you for joining us here at GAB Sports. We're going to go with Jerry Jeudy. Get us a veteran. And please, on your way in, take the time to go ahead and smash the like button, if you will. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Go ahead and support your boy Young Moolah, as we like to bring you fresh content, the hottest takes, and live drafting. And yeah, we got some strategy videos we're cranking out. And we will continue that as well as we get to post-draft. We'll have a different strategy probably. Incorporate some of the same tactics, but also some of the different strategies, because I love the contests that they offer in post-draft, right? It's a lot of more variation in the contests. And that way you can go specific in some of these contests with what you want to do when there's only like a 4 max or a 10 max entry, right? You can get just a little bit more specific on your strategy, because I do have some ideas on how to attack those that I believe will be successful when we're dealing with those time box contests that may only have about a week or so to draft, right? They open contests that'll fill in like a week, or maybe even like 4 or 5 days. It'll be filled up. So you got to approach those a little differently. And so I appreciate the variance in different contests post-draft. But we look forward to finishing this pre-draft season out. Got so much of Brooks. Do we want to add another share? Probably do not. Got another idea in mind. FK Coolers, help us out. Take Brooks off my hands so I don't even have to think about it. Thank you. I knew he would, because I really wanted this guy, because I got my angle on IU going to Washington. He's buddies, longtime buddies, with Jaden Daniels. The mother, Jaden Daniels' mother, almost looks at this guy as like a son, right? That's from what I'm hearing. I don't know this as a fact. These are just things I've heard as when they were at Arizona State together. She kind of looked out for him as well. And so I do know there is a strong connection between Daniels and IU. They are really close, so wouldn't be a stretch to know that his mom, looks at him and say, hey, man, you just like my son or whatever, and would be looking out for him. So IU going to the Commanders, I can see that as almost a done deal. Once Ayuk is clear and free to sign with anybody, he'll take an incentive-laden deal, going to the Commanders. Can see if he has anything left throughout this offseason. We'll get some updates to see if he's, recovering well, how he's working out. But I'm going to go ahead and make that connection here, put it on this build. And we also have a Casey Concepcion who could end up in a Washington or something, right? We don't know. It's possible that these guys can, end up together as well. And some of these builds that you do, or you're taking these rookie receivers, you don't know where they're going to end up. But they could just luckily land where you got the quarterbacks already. Because these teams, like a Washington, they need a receiver, so they may take the guy you drafted as a rookie. Shamari DK is a guy that I believe will have a role still there. Let's see what the tight end room is looking like. Not too great, so we'll go ahead and stick to the receivers and add some tight ends. No, we don't need to add them. Where did Okonkwo go? Okonkwo, I'm not overly excited about this Okonkwo signing. I still think they may even bring in another guy. So Okonkwo has been a little bit disappointing. So he went in the 14th after I took Ayuk. Yeah, Okonkwo is not a must-have for me, even on Jaden Daniels builds. Jaden Daniels builds, I don't have to have Okonkwo. To me, if he was such a great player, why would they let him go in Tennessee? They need players. They need all the players they can get. So I think Okonkwo is okay, but he's not special or anything, because he should have been lighting it up there last year. But Gunnar Helm probably outplayed him. Gonna go with some Gunnar Helm, man. Gunnar. Yeah. We like Gunnar. So we got Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield. We might just stick with a 2-quarterback build, man. Overload these other positions. Come with a drastic build. 287. 3. 2. 783. Yeah. We can go either one of those. Feel okay. Do we want 8 receivers or 8 running backs? I think our running back room is pretty solid. Yeah, running back's pretty solid. Jalen Naylor, another share. I think I've been adding a couple here lately. Yeah, Jalen Naylor. He's not special or anything, but they gave him a nice little bag. So they obviously have a pretty decent role in store for this guy. Just based off of the bag they gave him. So I'm going to go ahead and add some shares here of that guy. And yeah, still got one tight end. Yep. Alani. Backing up one of my guys. Is Wilson still available? We had this guy. We had this guy. All right, because this is the season where I'm taking dudes nobody's drafted. Late in these drafts. Again, we're trying to press all edges. The low-owned guys could be the guys that get you over the top. I mean, not to say that they're going to do this, but Kyron Williams, right? Puka Nacua. If you just think back to those pre-draft contests, those guys probably weren't even getting drafted in pre-draft. And then they turned out, if you would have had those guys in that contest, and you would have won first place easily, or at least been in the finals. But yeah, so you don't know what can happen when you're getting these dudes who aren't drafted, like a Le'Veon Moss. This dude might come on. I mean, I like this guy's profile. This guy right here. Love this guy's profile. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody's drafting him. Why? Because he's hurt. Okay, he's hurt now, but he will be ready. He'll be ready by the time the season starts. So that's all that matters. So I'm mixing in dudes nobody's talking about, just so I can be different. Yeah, and maybe it works. Just like the guys who drafted Puka, Kyron, right? Nobody's drafting him, and then they drafted him, and they won. Yeah, never know, man, where that lightning in a bottle is going to hit. The season is so far away from us right now. We can't be sure who's going to emerge during the off season and all that. We don't know, right? Since we have our guy Baker, we're going to take Cade Otton first as a pairing for Baker Mayfield to fortify our stack there. And we can also add some of those dudes that are already in Washington, such as this guy, such as another guy I'm drafting that nobody's drafted, Traylon Burks. Yep, he's going to have an opportunity. I will draft a Burks, no doubt about it, intentionally. Yeah, let's move these dudes up. So, Claiborne, Ray Davis, Moss, we can move down because he'll be a last pick. All right, so yeah, let's see what we got. 18th round. We'll go ahead and jump in one more. After this, if there's anybody here in this stream who's in this draft room and you want me to review your team, go ahead and speak up. Good move. Which one was that? Or good mama? Who's good mama? I think it's pretty they pair up. Which one you talking about? Quick Pro? Good mama. Oh, the mom of our guy, Jaden Daniels. Yeah. And then yeah, they're gonna pair up, I believe so. I believe that's one of those things that I'll take Ray Davis. Don't need another receiver, I don't think. Caught that one at the end. Ray Davis is a guy who will be in the mix. Yeah, he'll definitely be in the mix, right? As a backup there. And if there's one thing that could happen, a guy like James Cook, I'm not wishing it, but he has been relatively healthy for the past few years, and he's a smaller guy. It's not out of the question he misses 4 or 5 plus games in a given season, right? It's a smaller guy taking a pounding. So Ray Davis is good insurance. There's a few good backs, these cuff backs late that will be in such good spots if they get the job. You got the Bigsby, right? Bigsby backing up. Saquon, who I took here. And then you got Ray Davis backing up James Cook. You got Vidal and Keaton Mitchell backing up our guy Amari Hampton. I mean, yeah, these are all lucrative spots if guys come in, right? Because those are good teams who run the ball well. And so when you're looking for cuffs, you want to be on the good teams. And I got another guy sitting at the top of my queue as well, who I believe in, Marshawn Lloyd. I mean, believe in is relative, right? Because he's got to stay healthy. This guy's always in the tub, right? If you can't make the club, if you're in the tub, and he's been in the tub all the damn time. But who's to say that he doesn't get all that corrected this year? And because he's a pretty talented guy, I will have to say. Marshawn Lloyd, pretty talented dude. And if he can stay healthy, he's one Josh Jacobs hit to the knee of going in and having a good role, right? So, hey, man, I take my shots on dudes like that just because it might happen. This late in a draft, what you got to lose? Nothing. Most of these picks are going to be zeros anyway. DeMercado. You know, our guy Huhames has been drafting this guy a lot. DeMercado. Not just because he's a Chief somewhere, because he could have a role too, right? As a third down back, possibly. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take Lloyd, our guy. Yeah. Continuing to get leverage on the Jacobs owners. Because I have 0 Jacobs. Actually, I know I need to start to get a few because I got 18% Marshawn Lloyd, but I got 0 Jacobs. So I'm going to have to get some Jacobs on the other side. But I'm building quite a bit of leverage in case there is a injury. I have tremendous leverage on the field of Jacobs owners if something dramatic happens. And because I don't see Lloyd getting drafted plenty of times. So nobody's really got him. I got 18 to 20%. If that bounces my way, whoo-wee. Yeah, that's how we play this game. We're looking for leverage that can give us a boom. If it doesn't work, so what? 1920 pick. I can overcome that. I can overcome a 0 out of a 1920 pick. If you can't overcome a 0 out of a 1920 round pick, then you weren't destined to do anything anyway. Because most of these picks will be zeros anyway. So you got to be able to overcome a 1920 round 0. So build your rosters to where that ain't going to, if you're relying on the 1920 round guy, your roster was crap from the beginning. So if I look at this room, I'm not relying on Marshawn Lloyd. I got Saquon, Achane, Demo, Price, Ray Davis. We're not relying on Marshawn Lloyd. But if he gets in there as the feature back, guess what? You got another boom to your roster, right? If Jacobs goes down. So that's how I look at it. Not relying on him. It's just leverage against the field on a guy I'm not super high on this year, which is Jacobs. All right. Do we want to add a receiver? I think we do. We got 7 backs. We'll go with the 9th receiver to mix into the mix. And it will be a Washington Commander. I'm going to go with the young guy this time. Sometimes I take Burks. Sometimes I'll take Jalen Lane. Mix them in. Take Jalen Lane this time. And so we went with a 2 quarterback build, which is a little risky sometimes. But hey, man, no risk it biscuit, no win. Sometimes your rosters are going to be just thin, right? Yeah, you got to take a thin margin, man, sometimes. We're praying for Jaden Daniels to be healthy. Yeah, that's what this roster will need. Baker Mayfield, stay healthy. Play a full 16. At least play in the playoffs, weeks 15, 16, 17, right? So a lot of times people are scared to build a thin build. I got to get a 3rd quarterback. I got to get especially 20 rounds. No, you don't. You just are drafting as if this is correct. Hey, man, my dude's going to stay healthy. Otherwise, this roster ain't going to win. If Jaden Daniels goes down week 2, 3, you lost. Okay, move on. By me adding Tua Tagovailoa right here or Rodgers or whatever, that wasn't really going to save you. That might have just kept you afloat, gave you some false hope. But if Jaden Daniels doesn't crush with this roster build, I don't have a chance to win anyway. He has to crush with this build. And then I went thin at tight end as well. So I got an ultra thin build on both ends. But I got a guy, Kyle Pitts, I believe in. And I got a guy, Cade Otton, who, with my stack. So going thin is no problem to me. But I can also dominate the running back receiver where I get high floors of my team every week with 9 receivers. So we'll go ahead and review this team right now. So we got a 2-7-9-2 build where I went thin on quarterback, thin on tight end. So we got Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, and we fortified this lineup in the running back receiver spots with 16 total players, 7-9. And so we got Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne, Demo, David Montgomery, Jadarian Price, and Mike Washington are bet on a Seattle landing spot for one of these guys. And then we got Ray Davis and Marshawn Lloyd. Okay, and then now we went with the 9 receiver room, 9 strong receivers with different mixes. We got Justin Jefferson, Emeka Egbuka, Parker Washington, Casey Concepcion, Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk taking a flyer swing there, Shamar DK, Jalen Naylor coming over as possibly the Raiders' number one receiver right now. Who knows? We got Jalen Lane, a young guy paired with Jaden Daniels. And then we got our 2 tight end room of Kyle Pitts, Cade Otton, right? A different build, man. Got to put some different builds out there into your portfolio. So we went with a different build here, a 2-7-9-2, which we will take our chances with. All right. Did anybody come in and say they wanted a team review? Seattle Stan and Pat, and running back is my take. Oh, Seattle's going to stand pat on running backs? It's definitely possible, right? They can add maybe a marginal dude, such as a Brian Robinson kind of guy, or they go with just Eugene Emmanuel Wilson, which is definitely consideration. So, yeah, they could stand pat. But I'm thinking a team that wants to win, defend that championship, they know that their running back room is pretty thin, right? And so they're going to need to do something. They got to bring in somebody. All right, so we've been going 2 hours strong here, but we are up for another draft. You in? You in, quid pro quo? I'll go ahead and jump in another one, man. Yeah, I got time for one more. That'll bring us about 2 hours, 45 minutes. Wilson and Charbs. It's not Charbs. I don't know about Charbs, man. I think Charbs could be out most of the year, but who knows? Modern medicine is pretty good these days, so he could come back around week 8. But I don't know. I think they bring somebody in early, second round, late first. But that's the beauty of it. We'll know soon. Give us about a month. All right, so I'm going to jump in one more draft. We might get aligned with other streamers, which is fine. We'll go ahead and take them out too. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump in this. Big board. All right, you ready? All right, let's go. I didn't jump in yet. You jumped in already? Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown. There's a little delay. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Big boarding. 4 more to start, says. Big boarding. All right, hope we get in together. What's your user? What's your username? Quid pro quo? All right. Thank you for joining us, stopping in. On your way in, please take the time, smash the like button, please, if you will, here at GAB Sports, drafting with your boy Young Moolah. We're going to do a third draft right now, and it's going to be a big board. We're waiting on a couple more to start, and so let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, we got a couple more to start. D-Dad. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing you in one of the other streams. D-Dad joining us here. It's about to fill. 2 more to go. Yep, 2 more to go, and we will be at this. Drafting on a Friday. March Madness. Some great games already underway. But this is our March Madness. Drafting big boards all throughout the day, right? It's our third draft here. We're pretty excited about joining another one here. Got our guy, Quid Pro Quo, coming in, drafting with us. So we'll go ahead and put it down. Let's see. I hope I don't get a 12th pick. That's all I'm saying. Just don't. I'm tired of the 12th pick. I've been getting too many. That's anything other than that. I'm not going to be picky. Just not the 12. So I got a 1 in 11 chance not to get to 12. Let's just go ahead and fall on that side of the variance, if you will. Random generator. Be okay with us. All right, looks like it's about to start. Let me just jump over here and get ready. Looks like it's ready to go. With one more. One more. All right. Dart slipping. Wow, what happened? Somebody slipped out and slipped back in. Okay, ready to go now. We are filled. We got the 5-hole. D-Dad coming in the 3-hole. Big old clutch carf. Taking dollars. I've been in rooms with that person already. Taking dollars, you in here? Are you lurking? Taking dollars is taking dollars. Coming into one spot. All right, we all got pretty good spots here. Sacrilegious coming in at the 4-hole. This ought to be good. We're all lined up here of the people I recognize. And oh, I got the edge on you guys in this even rounds. Coming to the turn here. Okay. Always good to know these things. Positioning. It's just like positioning at a poker table. You got to know how things are going to react. Okay. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're going to see how this thing shakes out. All right. Yeah, that's you. The number 1 hole, right? Taking dollars. Yeah, you got it, man. Okay, let me see. We're on the clock. JTJSC, I'm going to do something a little different on this one. Yes, we are. We haven't taken this guy. Ah, what happened? My thing is frozen, man. Ah. Something's frozen on me. I got to refresh. I was going to do something different. That's okay. Ended up with JT, but I was going to take McCaffrey. But my screen froze for some reason. All right, Underdog, you messed me up. Because I had a specific strategy or a specific build. I wanted a AFC West or NFC West dude right there. That's okay. We'll work it out. We got JT instead of McCaffrey. Let me make sure it's clicking now. Okay, I just needed it. Somehow it was frozen. Yes, okay. We'll figure it out. One of these dudes is not going to fall to me, but we'll put him in there anyway to throw you guys all off. That's not who we want. We don't want none of these dudes right here. Man, I sure wish I did give McCaffrey though, but I'm going to still stick to that strategy I wanted. We just have to modify it a little bit. Okay, so you're going to be going a little different too? All right. Let's do this, man. I think I'm on the clock here in a second. Sacrilegious. Who did he take first round? Oh, Puka. Yeah, not out of the ordinary. First 5, 6 picks. Okay, we're on the clock. Man, they keep taking McBride right in front of me. I keep wanting to get McBride, and they keep taking him. We'll go neighbors. Friendly neighbors. Let's see who the AFC South plays. I wasn't really planning on taking them, so I forgot who they played. AFC South plays NFC East, so we got a correlation already off the bat. Good. AFC North, NFC East. Got a correlation already. Taylor neighbors. Let's go down that path. I'm planning on highly correlating this team. Spilling the beans already, but you guys won't be able to stop me. I already got it lined up. It's already lined up. How it's going to work. Okay. We got taking dollars on the turn. Bijan, AJ Brown. Oh, he's got a plan. I've seen people doing this lately. AJ Brown on the turn there. I kind of know where you're going with this. Egbuka. Ooh-wee. All right. Do it, man. That's a combination nobody's going to have. That's what I'll give you with that one. That's going to be a rare combo. Which this is that combo season, man, where you get these rare combos that can give you an edge. D-Dad coming in the 3-hole. Quid pro quo. Also known as D-Dad. Oh, got the three receiver start. Sacrilegious. He said, okay, thank you. Because he's going to get this guy. Which was Jacobs, which is definitely not my guy. Okay. Do we want to go this guy? I think we do. I do like me some Olave this year. And the Saints. We like Olave and the Saints this year. So we got the 1-2-2 start. Sacrilegious has the 2-1 start. D-Dad with the 0-3 start. Taking dollars with the 1-2 start. All right, it's getting interesting. Let's see what they do after us. Anybody? First quarterback off the board, Josh Allen, just goes. Chase Brown, 30th. That's a nice value. For our guy Aaron Costa in the middle, picking in the 6th hole. You got JSN, Drake London. Pretty good price on Chase Brown. All right. This will be an interesting draft. We got some strategists in here who are doing their thing. Here at GAB Sports, where strategy is a premium. This is what we base everything we do on, strategy, man. You got to have a strategic approach in this game, I believe. Otherwise, you're just drafting. If you're drafting without any purpose, you're just like a ship sailing off into the night with no destination. You're on an aimless voyage into the abyss. And so you better come with some kind of approach, strategy that makes sense, man. And yeah, we all doing it right here. And let's see where we want to go with this. JT. AFC North, NFC East. Let's see if we can continue that. AFC North, NFC East. Theme we got. I think we can do it. Let's see. We got Steam Reaper. Yeah, buddy. This is what we wanted to do. McLaurin. I think the Washington team, I'm hoping this guy's any good. The who's that coordinator? David Bloch. Yeah, hopefully he's up to the task, but I think they're a bounce back candidate to really come back strong this year after, guy got hurt. Yeah, you got to refresh, man. Yep, refresh, because that's what happened on me. It froze up where I couldn't pick anything. I was like, man, what's going on? So now I'm making sure I select something ahead of time to see if it's working. But yeah, once it starts freezing, I think you just have to refresh. And so, yeah, I got to make sure, it's working for me. Yeah, because otherwise you can get stuck. Because I got stuck with JT. I didn't really want him in this one, but since I got him, going to make it work. All right, take $1. Travion. Doomsday. I know where you're going, man. I already know where you're going. D-Dad with Mike Evans. I've gotten very few of Mike Evans, man. That's what I was trying to do maybe with CMC. I was going to try to build a San Francisco stack. But since it didn't work out, it probably wasn't going to be my day anyway if you took Evans right there. Yep. Okay, we're putting the bet in right now. We're putting the bet in on the New York Giants, the G-Men, with Scatterball Neighbors going up against our brethren, the Washington Commanders. A scary team. And also Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, they all play each other, man. So we're going to bank on that. And we're going to just think that they're not going to bring in Jeremiah Love, right? Because if they bring in Jeremiah Love, all this is to crap. Scatterball's value will go to kaput if they bring in Jeremiah Love, right? That's the big talk. I think they're blowing smoke, honestly. I don't think they're in a position. I mean, they're in a position to do it, but I don't think it makes the most sense. But some teams just want to make a splash, right? And with the Harbaugh coming over here, he's taking over. The GM is basically neutered. He basically said, I'm running things. I'm reporting straight to the owner, John Harbaugh. So the GM has no say-so. So it's all about what Harbaugh wants to do. And if he wants to go make a splash and say, hey, man, you drafted all these Scatterballs and Tracy's, and I'm not with them dudes. I'm drafting Love. He might do it. He could do it. So don't rule it out. But did anyone hear that I like the underdog team bets? Titans last year, maybe a year. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of value in going with some of these undervalued, underrated teams that nobody's really on. And that could definitely work to your advantage if you're loaded up on them and they hit, right? Because you'll have a bigger exposure to them, and then everybody else will be like, man, we missed out on this surprising team or whatever, right? So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. Definitely can work. Okay, we're going to take another bet. Do we want to take the tight end or the receiver? Going to take the tight end this time. Going to go with Tyler Warren to pair up with Jonathan Taylor. And there is something I think we're going to need to do. Wow. And knowing how there's a lot of purple on that side already. Knowing how frantic these guys are. Oh, I think you put a foil in your plan. Sacrilegious. You took Drake May. I think that's what you were lining up, taking dollars. That's what I thought you was lining up. Am I right? He foiled you. Yeah, I think Sacrilegious is a Patriots fan. So I think that's why he did it. He wasn't trying to bust your bubble. But it looks like, were you building that Drake May on the corner there? I've seen several people doing that lately. Getting that Drake May on the corner there. But he snapped ahead of you. Okay, we're going to have to do it. Going to have to pull our guy up here a little higher than we wanted to, but since we already made the bet, we're going to go New York Giants all in. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterable, and Malik Neighbors. Let's do it. Yeah. All right, let's see what the board is looking like. So what did you do there on the turn? Taking dollars. You got Pierce, Fannin. Yeah, I like that pairing. Pierce, Fannin. Got a good, strong build still. The 0241. D-Dag coming with the 115. The 0RB. True 0RB build, taking your first running back in the 7th round. Dak Prescott pulled up. Yeah, sometimes you pull up a guy, man. If that's what you want to build with, it doesn't matter what that about the ADP. At some point, you got to get the build that you want. And the build says Dak fits this roster for you. Do it, man. Do it. Yeah, it makes. Yeah, don't be concerned about a few picks of ADP, especially the way quarterbacks are just getting, just loaded up on, man. Some teams are getting 3 quarterbacks, but before the 7th, 8th round, they got 3 quarterbacks and stuff. And so you just got to get yours, man. Even if it's not value as far as ADP value, it still fits what you were doing. And so, yeah, sometimes you got to do it. Don't mind that at all. It's all about the build sometimes, not the ADP value. All right, so we got a 1, 2, 3, 1 build. Let's see where we want to go. I can go in any direction here, it looks like. Any falling quarterbacks that I might be interested in? Not a single one. Any running backs? Sure, there's running backs out. Oh, excuse me. A little indigestion here. Any running backs I would like are definitely here. Oh, see, maybe we go with this guy. I haven't got much of this guy. Here's a good chance to add some. Algier. Yeah. So Tyler Algier, we added to this mix because we're low on shares on him, and just the fact that he's just got a new contract in Arizona, new regime coming in, and they wanted to bring this guy over. They got a plan for him, right? They got to have a good plan for him. Because you're the guy we want to bring in. So welcome aboard, Tyler Algier. Let's see. Taking dollars on the corner. Is he going to get his first? Is he going to do it? Yeah, I figured, man. Once you took A.J. Brown and Travion, yeah. The May pick was in the plan, and then he foiled it. Yeah, that's sacrilegious. I think he's a Patriots fan. Went crazy yesterday with a Lamar, Caleb, and a Hurts. Ooh, what you got all 3 of those dudes on the same team? You pulled a gritty? Pulled the gritty? He pulled the gritty. I think this guy's going Dobbs here. Nope, I might go Dobbs. We're going to go Dobbs. Dobbs. Yeah, Dobbs is in a spot where I don't love him as a player. He's good. He's solid. He's not a stud, but if they do not bring over A.J. Brown, right, which is not a done deal. A lot of people think it's a done deal, but we don't know. But if they do not bring over A.J. Brown, he's looking good as the featured guy there. So he has probably slightly more value right now, as is now, than he had in Green Bay. But if they bring over A.J. Brown, he goes back to basically what he was in Green Bay, which is not going to be worth this pick here. So when I'm taking a dog like Dobbs here, I'm banking that they don't get A.J. Brown, which is possible. But if they do, hey, whatever. It works. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they explode. Maybe they take a step up, and both of them have great value, right? A.J. Brown and Dobbs. Maybe they pass a little more than they did last year, and they have a little bit more explosiveness in them because they weren't that explosive. Only guy that really was showing any explosion was Travion, but their passing game wasn't really great. So adding an A.J. Brown makes sense. Just matters what the details will be. Let's see. It's coming up to the corner here, so let's see what I need to do. What's your guys' running backs looking like? You guys are all thin on running back. Dobbins was definitely my pick. See if we want to go running back here. It's not a receiver I'm in love with. Gonna go with this guy or this guy. We'll take Gainwell this time. We'll take Gainwell. Mixing it up a little bit. Yeah, all the backs are going to go here. I figured there'll be some backs on this turn with you guys. And I think I'll still have a pick of a back I like coming out of that turn. Gonna hedge against Bucky. We got tight end on our mind, maybe. Let's see. No, we got Tyler Warren. Let's see what the quarterback room is looking like. Yep. We could go that route if they allow us to. Or we add a receiver who we like. And this guy. So let's see what they want to do. Sacrilegious. Thank you, buddy, because we did want this guy in this build. To pair it with our guy, Olave, we'll go with Shuck. The Shuck business is open. Dart Shuck. 2 second-year guys. We'll roll with them. Probably add a third to this build. And, yeah, that third is definitely identified who we want it to be, but let's see if we can get it. Tight ends looking pretty lucrative still. There's some good tight ends still available. All right, let's check the board. I'll put the full board up. Putting the full board up. We got a room here for taking dollars. D-Dad joining us for this third and final draft here at GAB Sports. And starting off in the one hole, we got taking dollars with the 1361 build. D-Dad with the 137. Sacrilegious coming with 3 quarterbacks, 4-4. YUUNGMOOLAHH with the 2-4-4-1. And let's see where we're at. We are coming down the stretch of the starting the 12th round here, just off the turn. And this is where a lot of people will start taking their guys, the guys they want down the stretch, because a lot of times they won't get back to you. And since I'm coming up first, I'm definitely taking a guy who I want, who I believe will not make it past that turn, coming back. Okay. So we're on the clock. And we're either going to go this guy or this guy, and we're going to go all in on the Giants. Yeah. What would I say are likely? So we got a dart +3. We got dart, scattable, neighbors, and likely. All in on the Giants with this build. The G-Men. Okay. And let's see what else we can do with this build. Do like this guy. We got some receivers we can go with. Sacrilege takes Aaron Jones. We got taking dollars on the corner with the Tyron Tracy getting a piece of that Giants offense that we are loading up on in this draft. Chris Rodriguez, nice pick there. So we got D-Dad on the clock. 237. Dallas Goedert as his first tight end. Strong selection as the first tight end this late into the 13th round. Who's your quarterbacks? Let's see. We got Dak and Ward. Okay. Sacrilegious. Let's see what we want to do here. We're going to take another running back who we like, who we are overloaded on. It'll be this guy right here. As our fifth back, we don't mind him as our fifth, taking a swing on some more Jonathan Brooks, who we are super high on. Had to. Caleb and Hurts fell, and I got all of the tight ends. Oh, okay. So you got the tight ends with them. Yeah. That's great, man. Yeah, sometimes you have to have these different builds where it may look a little awkward or different, but those can give you big edges, man, when you get, if you advance, because a lot of teams won't be built that way, and you'll have 3 outs at the quarterback, 3 strong outs. Yeah, it's okay, man, to spend that much capital sometimes. I wouldn't do it regularly, but sometimes it's all right. Yeah. With a Bijan Nico start. Yeah, that's good. You got anchors there. All right. Pretty wild one. Yeah, this one is getting a little interesting. As we are coming around the corner here into the 14th round, we got a Woody Marks sighting. Let's see what they're doing at this other end of the board, right? So we got 3470. He's just yet to get a tight end on the 12th spot. 2462. 3451 is on the clock. Adds another tight end. Aaron Costa down the middle has only drafted 1 quarterback. Let's see what he's doing. Because he must have a stud. Yeah, he's got Lamar, so I don't mind that strategy. If you got Lamar, you can just wait and tack on them one dude later if you wish. Because if Lamar doesn't get you there, you weren't going to get there anyway. So that's the thought process sometimes when you're building like that. Lamar didn't get me there. I wasn't getting there. We can even tack on Jawan. Let's do it. With our Shuck stack as our final tight end, we'll do it. Our Shuck stack just got reinforced. And he's the best buddy of Tyler Shuck. At least they went to college together. So we'll go ahead and connect the dots and say they're best buddies. Even if they're not, we'll make that up. But they did go to college together. And he was peppering them with targets last year. Looks like a best buddy to me. Arizona, we don't really have any passing action, so I don't want to go for Brissett, I don't think. Okay. Who are the quarterbacks of interest? Gino keeps popping up. I just can't seem to take this guy, Gino. Because of what I witnessed last year on my Raiders team, he just didn't look like an NFL quarterback. He looked like he was just got into the league. He was making so many mistakes on basic stuff. And I was like, man, what's gotten into this guy? Doesn't see the field. We're going to take a bet on a guy coming back from injury, if Sacrilegious allows us to. Are you in here listening, Sacrilegious? You in there lurking? Probably not. He's a New England homer. We're going with Tank Dell. Give us more of that AFC South to NFC East correlation with our stack. We got the full New York Giants stack. So we're going to get some AFC South partners. We got Tank Dell. We got the Indianapolis teammate correlation to go up against our New York Giants. Hopefully we land on a week 17, week 16 type matchup with this type of thought process. We don't need any more tight ends. Our tight end room is closed off. Our running back room is pretty good too, but I think I'll leave that open. May need one more quarterback. So let's proceed as is. Do we have any of that? No, we do not. Coming up in 7 picks. Our third and final draft here in a big board over here on Underdog. Let's go ahead and shout out our guys, Taking Dollars and D-Dad, joining us for a draft here. We all got in the same draft here. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Remember to smash that like button as you come in. So we will be winding down here. We're going on 2.5 hours plus the lengthy draft here during March Madness. Thanks for taking the time out on a Friday. It's Friday, man. You ain't got shit to do. You lost your job, man. You got fired on your day off. What you gonna do, man? What you gonna do? It's Friday, man. Might watch that tonight. Friday. Got a little time on our hands. Son home from spring break. Man, let's watch Friday together. All right. Shamir DK. Singleton. I think I'm taking Singleton. I like Singleton over my guy K-Tron. Singleton's a little more explosive. We go for explosion. We want guys who can give us the big weeks. Singleton's a guy with tremendous speed for his size. Coming off that injury, if he would have been at the combine, people would have been fascinated by this guy because he ran lights out. Do we need to lock in our next quarterback? I say we can wait. We'll push it in this room. Oh, we don't need no tight end. Yeah, we are for tight ends. We are off of tight ends. We can use some receivers. I'm going to steal some in your Dallas stack, possibly. Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is a potential guy who can, you can get in that San Francisco rotation and possibly move up the ladder if some of those injury-prone dudes like Pearsall, Mike Evans sometimes gets injured. So even so, as a third receiver, that's a decent role as a third receiver on San Francisco. So Christian Kirk might have some value standalone, and he's got contingency value with two guys who have known to be a little dinged up sometimes. So we don't mind adding Christian Kirk there as a depth piece in this build. Getting some different combinations. This is a season for different combos, right? Got to get some different combos. So guys that I don't have a lot of, I'm willing to take some shares here, especially if their situations have cleared up and they've found some landing spots. Yeah, nobody was on Kirk early, right? Everybody was ignoring this guy. As soon as he landed in San Francisco, he's on the radar. Might as well add a few shares late. No real big difference in the 20th round, 19th round, 17th rounds, all the same. You just want guys who can contribute in these picks here and maybe give you a surprise with an elevated role, either through injury or they just surprise based on their role. We've seen guys do this late in seasons. The Batemans of the world a few years ago. The Zay Joneses of the world. The DeMarcus Robinsons of the world. Sometimes these late receivers sometimes can fall into a spot where they have good value for at least for a stretch of the season, if not for all season. And they can really help your teams out by landing into a favorable situation, whether it's through injury, whether it's through their just role or whatever. All right. Let's see if my guy's still available. We got to take him. And he is another Shador share. We got so many, but I use him as my fallback, especially as a third quarterback. We will take him. Gladly take him as a third quarterback who could make your lineup every now and then, right? Yeah, he can make the lineup for sure. He's had a couple big games, at least one huge game. All right, now we're going to load up on receiver. Let's see what our running back room is looking like. Scatterball, JT, Algier, Gainwell, Brooks, Singleton. We're going to stop there on our running back room. Go with those six, rolling with them. Not adding any more Giants. Devon Bailey, Cooper Kupp. No more Giants. We got enough. Bateman. Load up our receiver queue with dudes of interest. Don't care which ones we get here. No more Giants. We just loading up the receiver room. Several of these guys will be on our team because we got two more picks. So a couple of these guys will be on my team. Antonio Williams, Bish, Bond. Who do we want first? Want a Seattle guy or a Dallas guy? We're going to continue our NFC East theme. We'll add Flournoy to the mix. Some more NFC East correlation. Go up against our Giants stack. In case we get any kind of favorable news coming out of Dallas regarding George Pickens. Pickens could theoretically be traded still. Guys who I think can still be traded, who are like on these franchise tags, are Pickens, Breece Hall. It's not a done deal that these guys will be back with these teams, even though they've been franchised. They could still be like a draft day kind of deal. I've seen this happen so many times where you just can't come to contract terms, right? Whatever reason. And then they just go ahead and say, okay, well, we'll trade you right ahead of the draft for X amount of picks or whatever. And then they get those picks. I've seen that happen so many times. So just because a guy gets franchised does not mean he's automatically coming back to the team. And a guy like Pickens is definitely going to want to get paid, right? He went and delivered last year when CeeDee Lamb was out. He took over as number one. So he did his part. He's saying, hey, man, I did my part. You got to pay me now. So if they have any kind of hangups in paying this guy, which Jerry Jones tends to do, he doesn't want to pay dudes. So this could get contentious. There might be some name calling. Jerry Jones seems to try to call people out publicly, which I don't understand. But, that's how some dudes operate. But if it gets to be that point, just like he traded Parsons, right? He didn't really want to pay CeeDee Lamb, him and Hall on that. So I could see a guy like Pickens getting traded. And if he does, I got Flournoy there stepping up. And a guy like Breece Hall, right? Everybody thinks, oh, Breece Hall, he's coming back to New York. Well, maybe not. Who knows? There's just some talk. I heard there was a guy, who was that? It was the guy at Fantasy Points. What was his name? Brett Whitefield. Yeah, he said, don't be surprised if the Jets at number 2 start dangling that idea that they might take what's his name? Jeremiah Love. Might take Jeremiah Love at number 2. And if they do that, they obviously will be trading Breece Hall like on the draft or during the draft or before the draft. We're going to go with Bond to give us a correlation with Shador. And so if that happens, Breece Hall could be on the move. So these franchise tags don't mean that the guy is necessarily there. Now, until they sign a long-term deal, it's still up in the air to me. And so Breece Hall, George Pickens, the 2 main franchise dudes have been franchise tagged. Until they hammer out these contracts, there's no guarantee they're coming back to those same teams. Now, it's more likely they do, but there's still a certain percentage of the time where they could be moved on. All right, we just finished. So let's go ahead and give a quick review of these teams. Shador got you to the final. Yeah, it was that week 14 where he had the big week. That was week 14 because he did have a big week. I forgot. I didn't remember which week it was, but he did have one big game, or and that's a lot of times we ignore those weeks where the 13th and 14th weeks, because sometimes those are the key weeks that get you into the playoffs. And then or was it week 16 where he got you into the finals? But those weeks right before the big stuff is the weeks we tend to ignore, right? Weeks 14, week 16. Sometimes we need to focus on those weeks once we start getting the schedules. Smokey! Is that you over there? Yeah, man, I'm going to watch that, man. I'm getting all excited now. All right, we're going to go ahead and give you guys a review. Going to go ahead and review Taking Dollars as well as D-Dad. Thanks, guys, for coming in. So we'll go ahead and give your teams a review here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the music down here. And appreciate you guys coming in and draft. So coming out of the one hole, we got D-Dads. No, we got Taking Dollars coming out of the one hole. Taking Dollars coming out of the one hole with a 3-6-8-3 build. All right. You got Baker Mayfield, Jacoby Brissett, and Aaron Rodgers. All right. That's a good strategy. You got quarterbacks all over the draft. One relatively early in that good bucket, or that very large bucket where all the quarterbacks go off, 8th, 9th round. Then you took one more later, but not too late, but Jacoby Brissett, starter. And you got Aaron Rodgers coming in as a late pick, coming in as one of the last starting quarterbacks available. So it's good to get him as your last starter. And then we got a 6-player backfield. Bijan starting off strong, obviously. Then went with Travion and got Rashad White, Tyrone Tracy, Chris Rodriguez, and Dylan Sampson. I like the mix with the anchor being Bijan. You just need these other guys to kind of fill in at their whenever they can to fortify their RB2 spot. And that usually can happen when you got guys with roles. And all these guys, as of now, has a role on their particular team. So I like the mix of that. And then you got a wide receiver room headed by A.J. Brown and a 2-3 turn with Egbuka. Yeah, and getting Egbuka there allowed you to pair him up with his quarterback at the 8-9 turn. I see that the thinking in that. And Roma Dunze, a nice solid pick at the 4-5. Alec Pierce and Pittman. I like that those two guys used to be teammates, and now that they're split, so you're getting kind of more value for each guy now instead of them being on the same team where they can cannibalize one another. They're on separate teams, and they can basically kind of go off together now, even, on certain weeks where they'll be in sync and going off. So I like that combination there. And you got Matthew Golden, one of my top breakouts predictions of the year. In fact, I'm going to come out with a breakout list. I'm pretty sure he will be the receiver of choice because I only pick one dude at each position who I think is going to break out. And Golden will probably, right now as it stands, he's probably the guy I'm leaning towards as the breakout candidate for the 2025 season or 2026 season. Trey Harris, Darnell Mooney, got a couple pieces of that New York Giants, right? You went with some of the Giants, right? Yep, Tracy and Mooney. Then you got Harold Fannin, Cade Otton, Greg Dulcich, and I love Harold Fannin this year as well. He's probably my breakout tight end. And then Cade Otton, Greg Dulcich. So, yeah, I like this pick, man. I like Dulcich as well. And I like the way you built the team. It's highly correlated. And, I like this team out of the one. A very strong chance to get out of this spot. Yeah, it's going to be 3 teams get out of this spot. You can definitely be one of them. D-Dag coming in the 3-hole. He's got a 2.684. All right. Kind of like that build, 2.684. And so he came with Dak Prescott and Cam Ward. So you went thin at the quarterback, which is fine. When you got a guy like Dak, you're just going to bank that he's the guy to get you there, which, hey, man, Dak doesn't get you there. You wasn't getting there. So, yeah, Dak plus Ward. Ward can supplement him every once in a while, with Dayball over there. Maybe they take a step up. Hopefully, that's the thinking there. Then you got 6 running backs. First one, Ramondre in the 7th round, okay? Dowdo, Mason, Pacheco is a cuff. Emmanuel Wilson, who you think can be a starter, which is not out of the question, right? Or at least at minimum, he'll have a good secondary role until if you think Charbonnet's coming back or not. So if they even draft somebody, he'll at least be in the mix for a while if Charbonnet comes back. But if they don't bring anybody in, he could be starting. Very well true. Then you got Ray Davis. Oh, man, I like the fact that you went with 6 only on a 0 RB. This is one of the better type of builds or combinations you could get because guys with roles, Jordan Mason at this point has a good role. Rico Dowdle has a good, strong role. Ramondre has a good, strong role. Wilson, your banking can have a good, strong role. Responsible. Davis is going to be in the mix, and he's a great contingent value. And Pacheco is on a great team with a great running game, and he one play away from being a starter. So I like the fact I normally go with a more running backs on a 0 RB, but the fact you stopped at this 6, it's okay. I think if things break your way, obviously things got to break anybody's way, but if things break your way, this could be a very strong unit right there. And then you got a lights out receiver core, as long as Rashee Rice is not sitting on the sideline for 8 to 10 weeks. But yeah, you got Jamar Chase, Pickens, Rashee Rice, J-Mo, Mike Evans, Wandale, Josh Downs, Tyquan Thornton. Oh, man, that's a loaded receiver core. It's very deep. So you'll get, 3 quality starters each week and then possibly a flex play as well out of this. So, yeah, that's a strong, probably the strongest receiving core in this league right there with those 8. Maybe Tyquan could have been a running back possibly. That's my only quibble with this one, or a quarterback. But other than that, no real issues. Then we got the 4 tight ends: Dallas Goedert, Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm, Colby Parkinson. Yeah, strong collaborative unit that'll, keep your floor high each week, hopefully, right? Give you that minimum floor that you're going to need where these guys can, they're not all going to smash all the time, but all you need is one dude to do well each week, right? One of these 4. So I like that kind of approach many times you get that committee approach at the tight end spot to keep the floor as high as possible. Yeah, 2684. I like that build coming out of 3-hole. And so now we're going to go over to Young Moolah's team. Yep. So we came in the 5-hole with Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Shador Sanders. So we banked on the Giants with this approach. Although we started off, we wanted CMC. We were going to go a different route. But, hey, man, once something just doesn't go your way, you got to adapt. So I adapted as quick as possible. Start off with JT. And then we went with Scatterbo to build upon our neighbor's pick that we had got as well, which we'll get to. But we got JT, Scatterbo, Algier, Gainwell, Jonathan Brooks, Nicholas Singleton. Yeah, so I went with also a hero RB strategy. And so we just added some other guys to supplement Taylor, who we expect to crush. And so we got the other guys who have roles. Scatterbo, right, as of now, has a good role. Algier looks like he's going to have a good role. Gainwell has a role with some contingency value. You know, if Bucky goes down any length of time, Algier will be heavily in the mix. Then we got Brooks, guy I'm high on, is a guy who could possibly break out. And then we got Nick Singleton, a flyer kind of a guy who, you know, it's all about the landing spot and his opportunity. So we like that mix of 6 there, and that allowed us to get our 8 receivers that we wanted to build with. We got Neighbors, Olave, Scary Terry, Romeo Dobbs, Tank Dale, Christian Kirk, Ryan Flournoy, and Isaiah Bond. So we went with the approach of just, you know, getting some quality guys who, you know, they aren't all stars, but they'll be solid. And then we're banking on our guys like Neighbors and Olave and Scary T to have the big weeks. And these other guys, Dobbs, Dale, Kirk, Flournoy, they got to get in where they can fit in, you know, make our weeks, during the bye weeks, make our lineup, things like that. Then we got Tyler Warren, Isaiah Likely, Juwan Johnson. I really like this tight end room. It's pretty strong. Started off with a top pick in Warren, and then we got one of our top plays that we like in the middle is Isaiah Likely, and we correlated Juwan Johnson as well to end that build. Yeah, guys, thanks, man, for coming through, and good luck to us all, man. Yeah, we knocked this draft out. We sure did, man. Sure did. Knocked it out. Yeah, knocked it out the box. And so we're going to go ahead and sign out right here. Let's see what what'd you say, buddy? So many times, yeah, stacking wide receivers early as the field goes running back heavy. Yeah, I've been on the 0 RBs almost all off season, and I think it's a strong build even right now. And I think it is going to be one of those things that people are going to maybe wish they did a little more of. So it's one of those things where I think it will be valuable. All right, good luck to y'all, and we are on our way out with the outro. Peace.
Oh, we rise, we rise, we rise. Oh, we climb, we climb, we climb. Oh, this time, son, we go. Victory on our mind. Gotta work, push, go. Gotta work, push, go. Let's see how I start this shift. We in this game, serving a strategic purpose. Went from underground, now I've reached the surface. When we claim the chip, it ain't a fluke, you know we work for this. New breed superhero, a hybrid dragon plus Michael Jordan, breathing fire into this game. In the air, I'm steady floating, destined for this role. Since my birth years, golden best ballin' for life. It's Moolah on a mission. Tommy Hot takes analysis, on point delivered with precision. Setting moves to this game, invoking martial law. Going all out, we won't stop. Win, lose, or draw. Oh, we rise, we rise, we rise. Oh, we climb, we climb, we climb. This time, sire, we go. Victory on our mind. Joe slow harmony check. Joe slow harmony check. Joe slow harmony check. Victory on our mind. Trash a low harmony check. Work, push, go. Giant work, push, go. Let's see how I start this. What we in this game, serving a strategic purpose. Went from underground, now I've reached the surface. When we claim the chip, it ain't a fluke, you know we work for this. New breed superhero, a hybrid dragon plus Michael Jordan, breathing fire into this game. In the air, I'm steady floating, destined for this role. Since my birth year is golden.